Today on Bridge City News. In the wake of yesterday's deadly terrorist attack on the London Bridge, UK counter-terrorism police revealed that the suspect had been released early, less than 7 years into a 16-year prison sentence for previous terrorism offenses. Winnipeg police say it appears the suspect who led officers on a wild chase after stealing a fire truck yesterday was attempting to hit people with the vehicle. And amidst calls for him to step down, Conservative leader Andrew Scheer is calling for his party to unite and to rally against the federal Liberals.
Your nation, your province, your southern Alberta. From the heart of Lethbridge, it's Bridge City News with Paul Arthur.
Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. The 15th annual Lethbridge Mayor's Prayer Breakfast took place this morning with a good crowd on hand to show their support for not only the mayor and council, but for our provincial and federal politicians as well. The event is organized by the Lethbridge Evangelical Ministerial Association.
Our heart and intent is to honor our governmental leaders, pray for them. The Bible tells us to do that. Actually, the Bible says that God has appointed them. Even though we vote for them, ultimately He appoints them. And He's called us to pray for them, to honor them. And so that's the heart behind this thing, and they certainly need our prayers. I mean, these are tough days, some challenging issues out there, and it's a hard job. And so they definitely need our prayers. They need our prayer for covering, protection. This isn't it's not a partisan thing. We have different opinions. This is just about supporting them as God's servants. You know, they appreciate our prayers, whether they're Christians or not. They value our support and our backing.
The Nutcracker is a Christmas tradition for many, and Lethbridge is in for a treat this weekend as the Jeunesse Classique Ballet Society brings its production to the Yates Theatre tonight at 7:30 and again tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. The charitable organization brings together young and talented ballet dancers from both Calgary and Lethbridge, offering an opportunity to hone their skills. This top-notch production does require a significant commitment.
Well, we start our rehearsals in mid-September and rehearse through the week and every weekend for about 4 months.
So Jeunesse Classique Ballet provides a really amazing opportunity for young aspiring dancers to get some professional experience with productions. So every year we do fully staged productions, which is amazing because we have everything from wardrobe to production to rehearsals, and it all comes together in a great show in the end, and that's great for getting us ready for professional careers.
The Calgary performances will take place next weekend at the University of Calgary Theatre. The snow-packed roads didn't seem to stop people from checking out the annual Big Christmas Trade Show at Lethbridge Exhibition Park today. Santa stopped into the event as well, which features vendors from across Alberta and neighboring provinces.
We have just over 300 vendors this year, so we are in a total of 3 pavilions. So we grew this show. Last year we expanded into a 3rd pavilion and filled it. You can bring the kids down and see Santa and Mrs. Claus. We have Santa's mailbox here, so the kids can come down and write a letter to Santa and mail it right from here. We also have a live nativity and Christmas caroling going on, and we also have kids' crafts with the princesses. So we're doing cookie decorating and Christmas ornament crafts. So all those fun things are happening along with the great exhibitors that you can come and see.
The Coaldale Fire Department says an investigation has determined careless smoking was the cause of a fatal house fire in the southern Alberta town of Nobleford. Emergency crews responding to the fire last weekend found a 27-year-old man in the home who was declared dead at the scene. The house sustained significant damage and 2 other adjacent homes suffered heat damage. The man's name has not been released. The Alberta Union of Provincial Employees says Premier Jason Kenney has broken an election promise to keep frontline services intact when cutting spending and warns of losing up to 5,900 job positions, including 500 full-time nursing jobs, as the Alberta government tries to balance the budget by the 2022-23 fiscal year. Union President Guy Smith says members of the AUP executive will meet next week to determine how to respond. Speaking to the Alberta United Conservative Party's annual general meeting in Calgary this weekend, Conservative leader Andrew Scheer has dismissed those calling for him to step down after last month's election loss as elites and talking heads who know he will never relent his opposition to the carbon tax.
The Liberals know that the NDP is weakened and broke, As soon as Elections Canada sends out the party rebates in the spring and the Liberals get their money, Trudeau will get ready to try to get his majority back. And we know what he'll be running on. A carbon tax, a higher carbon tax. Is that what Canada needs? No. Playing one region off against the other in this country. Will that create prosperity? No. Taking firearms away from law-abiding farmers and hunters and letting dangerous criminals off easy. Will that make Canada a safer place? No. Now, I see in the papers and some talking heads on TV, there are some Laurentian elites who want me to sign on to all of that. They think that what Canada needs is a second Liberal Party. And you may have heard some of these folks want me gone because they know I will never stand for that. All these people, they think that they can turn our April convention into an internal fight. They think this because, let's be honest, Conservatives, we've done this to ourselves before. When we focus on our differences instead of our common goals and our vision for a strong and united Canada, we have snatched victory from ourselves in the past. But I have met with Conservatives right across this country, and I know that that isn't what our convention is going to be about. It's going to be a convention where Conservatives of every stripe come together. And like we always do when we work together, we are going to come up with some big ideas. We're going to use our different perspectives to come out with a bold plan of action for a better Canada.
Winnipeg police say it appears a suspect who led officers on a wild chase after stealing a fire truck yesterday was attempting to hit people. The fire chief says the truck was on a medical call when it was stolen and then started heading downtown, hitting a vehicle and knocking down a hydro pole. Police Constable Rob Carver says he has never seen anything like it before.
The first report we had was that a off-duty firefighter had seen the fire truck driving with lights on, and he realized that the driver was in street clothes. The vehicle ended up getting into the downtown area. It eventually went into Central Park. It drove onto the grass in Central Park. Early indications are that there were attempts to hit civilians in the park. None were hit. We deployed 2 separate spike belts to attempt to stop the vehicle. You can see evidence of tire deflation on both sides of the vehicle. Authorization was given that we would not be aborting this pursuit given the extreme risk to the public. The threat was very real here. He didn't just get out of the truck and put his hands up and go, hey, sorry about this, do you want me to turn it off? We had to use a significant amount of force to bring him under control. We didn't have the armored vehicle out, so we can't deploy it in time. You can use your own imagination, but eventually if this is driving downtown and the guy's trying to hit people, we might have to use firearms to stop the driver.
The Mexican Undersecretary for North America met with Prime Minister Trudeau and Chrystia Freeland yesterday to discuss the new North American free trade deal and said he thinks the agreement can be ratified soon if certain things are in place.
It depends whether we come to the assessment that the changes that are now being examined, considered, if they are all basically blue skies, if these are improvements and reasonable, there's nothing that goes beyond the many red lines that we have drawn, then we can come back within a few days and say, fine. And Canada will be doing something similar. If some of the texts reveal difficulties, then we have to discuss them. And it's, as the Democrats have correctly said 100 times, we also say it. It's more important to get the right treaty than a quick treaty. So if there are difficulties, we'll deal with the issues.
I really believe the work we do together as NAFTA partners, including the close bilateral cooperation on labor reform, which is certainly an issue we'll be discussing today, is great for Mexico, it's great for Mexican workers, and it's great for Canada and great for Canadians.
2 people are dead and 3 others are in critical but stable condition in hospital, and a third has less serious injuries following yesterday's stabbing on Britain's London Bridge. The attacker was wearing a fake explosive vest, but several bystanders risked their lives to wrestle a man to the ground before police arrived.
The attack started at Fishmongers Hall in the City of London. My understanding is that police were called at 13:58, 2 minutes to 2, and City of London police officers had bravely and professionally confronted the suspect by 14:03, just 5 minutes later. In the coming days, you will see more police, both armed and unarmed, patrolling our streets to help reassure those who are understandably concerned.
UK counter-terrorism police are now trying to figure out what went wrong with the system that allowed the suspect to have been released less than 7 years into a 16-year prison sentence for previous terrorism offenses. Police also note that 28-year-old Usman Khan was actually enrolled in a program to de-radicalize prisoners when he launched this attack. And just hours after the London attack, 3 teenagers were stabbed in the Netherlands on a street in The Hague crowded with Black Friday shoppers. After a 24-hour search, police have arrested a 35-year-old man and are now trying to determine his motive. The 3 teens have since been released from hospital. Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro is blaming actor Leonardo DiCaprio for making donations to nonprofit organizations that he claims are behind some of the fires in the Amazon rainforest. DiCaprio's environmental organization has pledged $5 million to help protect the Amazon after fires destroyed large parts of the rainforest in July and August. But several volunteer firefighters who deny any wrongdoing are being investigated for allegedly igniting those fires to obtain funding through nonprofits. Recapping one of our top news stories, amidst calls for him to step down, Conservative leader Andrew Scheer is calling for his party to unite and to rally against the federal Liberals. And a look at weekend weather. Clear skies overnight with a low of -10, but the wind chill will be at a frigid -20. For tomorrow, some welcome sunshine with a west wind gusting from 40 to 60 and a high of +1. It may not be forest fire season, but fire safety should always be in season. Hal Roberts sat down with Troy Hicks, fire prevention officer with the Lethbridge Fire Department, to discuss how to keep your family safe. That is coming right up. But first, here's a look at what's happening in and around your community.
Here's your Bridge City News community calendar. It's the 28th annual Mayor's Christmas Concert on Saturday, December 7th at the Southminster United Church, beginning at 7 p.m. Enjoy your favorite Christmas carols performed by the Lethbridge Community Silver and Gold Bands with special guests École Agnes Davidson's senior and junior choirs. Come take part in this annual tradition and bring along a donation in support of the Lethbridge Food Bank and Interfaith Food Bank's Christmas Hope campaign. For more information and to purchase tickets, visit lcbs.yapcity.com. Make Christmas special for a child in need. Center Village Mall Toy Mountain is accepting donations of new unwrapped toys until December 20th during mall hours. All toys will be distributed through the joint efforts of the Christmas Hope campaign. For details, visit christmashope.ca. Plus, come for the arrival of the big guy himself, Santa Claus, at Center Village Mall on Saturday, December 7th at 11 a.m. And that's your Bridge City News community calendar.